there, Bayside kids. This is Sally. Welcome to Lesson 4, Cain and Abel. Today I'm going to tell you a Bible story found in the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis. The word Genesis means beginnings, and the book of Genesis is about the beginning of the world. In the beginning, God wanted to make people to be his friends. But first, God had to make a place for his friends to live. So he did. It was a world filled with oceans and rivers, mountains and valleys, the sky and the stars. Then God filled it with plants and trees, birds and fish, and all of the animals. Then God made his special friends, Adam and Eve. God made a beautiful garden for his friends to live in. It was called the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were happy for a long time, but one day they disobeyed God and they were forced to leave the beautiful garden that God had made for them. From then on, they had to work hard for their food and all the other things they needed. After a time, Adam and Eve had a son, the very first person born on earth. They named him Cain. Adam and Eve were very happy and proud of their new son. A little while later, Eve gave birth to another son. This son, Adam and Eve named Abel. Cain and Abel grew up. Cain became a farmer, and Abel became a shepherd. Cain farmed the ground and grew all kinds of fruits and vegetables for the family to eat. Abel raised sheep, which provided milk and cheese and wool to make clothing for the family. One day, Cain and Abel wanted to bring an offering to God. An offering is a small part of what we have that we give to God. You can give an offering to God just like Cain and Abel did. Every week when we gather at church, Pelican Pete will take the money that you bring and give it to Pastor Scott. Pastor Scott then uses that money to help poor people in Africa and South America. Cain brought an offering of some of the things he had grown in the ground, like fruits and vegetables. And Abel brought the best lambs of the flock to God for an offering. The Bible tells us that the Lord was pleased with Abel and his offering, but God was not pleased with Cain and his offering. And this made Cain very angry. He was very jealous of his brother, and all he could think about was how God was happy with Abel, but was unhappy with him. God saw that Cain was angry and wanted to help. So God said to Cain, "Do not be angry. If you do the right thing, I will be happy with you." But Cain could not forget how God was happy with Abel, but not with him. So Cain did a really bad thing. Cain asked his brother Abel to come out to the fields. Maybe Abel thought Cain needed help with his garden. When they were out in the field, alone, Cain hit his brother Abel so hard that he died. That was a very bad thing to do. Sometimes when we get angry, we do bad things. The next time you get angry, ask God to help you so you don't do a bad thing like Cain did. Afterwards, God said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain pretended he didn't know what happened to his brother Abel, and he said, "Am I supposed to look after my brother?" But God knows everything that happens, and he knew exactly what Cain did to his brother. God punished Cain for the bad thing that he had done. God told Cain he had to leave his family. He had to go and live by himself. So Cain went far away, and that was very sad. That was a very sad day for Adam and Eve. They lost both of their sons on the same day. Soon, Adam and Eve had more children and grandchildren, and then great-grandchildren. After a time, the earth was filled with many, many people, but the earth was a very different place than God had intended when he first made the world. Many of the people had forgotten God. When they forgot about God, they forgot about being good. The people did not want to obey God's commands. In fact, they thought about wicked things all of the time. You would not want to live in a world like that. Next week, we're going to tell you the story of what God decided to do next with the world that he had made. Well, that's our story for this week. We'll see you next time.